What's the juiciest secret you know? My last birthday party consisted of a bonfire and beers in my backyard. My boss stuck around real late after everyone left, and we talked most of the night. He was so drunk I don't think he remembers telling me that his sister was wrapped, and he found the guy and killed him. He even laughed about how hard it was to bury a body. I've never respected/feared a man so much in my life. Now that's how you motivate your employees to be the best they can be. Burying a body is a lot like skydiving. After the first time, the fear is gone, and it's all about chasing that adrenaline rush. You know what I'm saying, Kenny? Why yes. How's that report coming along? Almost done, sir. Very well, Kenny. Who my 5th graders have a crush on? Also, which 5th graders you have a crush on? Much bigger secret. Our close friend has a 19-year-old daughter that he doesn't know about. We found out through the daughter herself. She wants to tell him, but just doesn't know how. I'm your daughter might do the trick. Everyone who is not my father, take a step back. Not so fast, Carl. She should flirt with him, date for some years, and on their wedding night she says we can't do this. Why? Said her father. I'm your daughter. I was thinking more short term like suck his duck, and when he says that was amazing she goes thanks dad. I didn't realize people in Alabama had internet. I went to the office on New Year's Day several years ago to pick up something I'd forgotten. Our quiet and unassuming male accountant was also in the office, wearing a dress, makeup and really quite fabulous sparkly nail polish. Being New Year's Day, he could easily have said whoa man, I went to a wacky party last night, but he tried to hide under his desk and the opportunity was kind of lost. Never told anyone, but I feel my expense claims were always processed slightly faster than anyone else's. I found out one of my close friend's grandfathers owns the Bruins. Some things just didn't add up about what he had told me about back home, so I looked into it, and sure enough, his grandpa is worth $4 billion and owns the Bruins. I'll never bring it up, because I respect his wanting people not to know he comes from that kind of money for obvious reasons. But I knew something had to be up. Nobody just chooses to like the Bruins. My friend got a tummy tuck, but because of how her skin had sagged from her pregnancies, they had to pull her skin up to do the tuck rather than down. End result. She's got pubes up to her belly button. That's a joke of my dad's. She's had so many facelifts, she's now got a beard. 2 people that deployed with me, a man and a woman, began hooking up on the regular while in Iraq. The woman got pregnant and sent home after she started to show. They are both married to other people. Her husband thinks the baby is his. How does he believe it was his? Did she get pregnant right away? Yay, she got sent back at around the 3-month mark. But, math. My dog was actually adopted into my family. Who told you? JZ and BNK fight all the time. I work at a high-class hotel they frequent it and the stories from our staff say they yell at each other when they stay with us. He has 100 problems. 2 massive egos in one relationship? Not surprised. Then her sister beats his ass. There's a coded map on the back of the Declaration of Independence leading to a treasure. I watched that documentary, great one, and learned tons of fun info. Anyone know about that follow-up one with something about a city of gold? Really? Do you have a link? I caught my mom having sass with our neighbor when I was 14 years old. My dad admitted to me when he was drunk that while he was in Vietnam he had sass with a prostitute while he was recently married to my mom. I haven't told either of my parents that I know this information, nor will I ever. I think both my parents know this about each other, but they don't admit their indiscretions. They've been married for over 45 years. Still. And I love both my parents. V8 vegetable juice contains the juices of tomatoes, carrots, celery, beets, parsley, lettuce, watercress, and spinach. And it tastes like shit. One of the IT guys is a registered sass offender. He moved to my neighborhood, so I found out. He's an IT guy and still got caught. Sir, I can't hire you. You're a sass offender. So, what does that? If you can't keep your own chat logs secure, how can you keep our company secure? 8 of us girls spent a fun weekend in London. One cheated and had a fling with a guy and 9 months later she had a baby. The baby is 10 years old now and looks like the London guy. I don't think her husband nor the Londoner knows the truth. I think about it every time she posts a pic of the kid on Facebook. Doesn't the kid's accent give it away? Oh, I have a really juicy secret on a Fortune 500 company. I can get you in on the ground floor. We are selling out early next week. It's super hush hush right now, but send me $50,000 and I can return a 140% margin, with me taking 10% fee. Talk soon. That one of the newer managers is ducking the head manager at the McDonald's I work at, just so she can maintain her position. She has a boyfriend, and he has a wife and 2 kids. It makes it even worse that I walked in on them in the bathroom at work, doing the dirty, and was given a free meal and swore never to tell. Edit, I ducking panicked boys, and accepted the free meal. I can't back out now. Edit 2, the cunts even gave me a dirty look when I wanted a large 10-nugget meal with a chocolate frappe, when I could have instantly ruined both of their lives. You seriously took a free meal from McDonald's as your bribe? You need some negotiation tips. Now that's a McScandal. Congratulations, you just sold your integrity for $6.95. Throwaway, obviously. A friend of mine was playing a prank and killed 2 people. He and 2 of his friends were driving at night on the highway. He was in the passenger seat and his friend was driving. 3rd guy was sleeping in the back seat. He was bored and thought it would be funny to grab the wheel and jerk it to the side. They crashed, of course. The driver died at the scene and the other friend, who was sleeping in the back seat, died at the hospital. Passenger guy was the only one wearing a seatbelt and wasn't really injured to speak of. To my knowledge, I'm the only other one who knows it wasn't an accident. I've been wanting to get this off my chest for years. I saw my boss making out with a woman at a bar that wasn't his wife. At one point we locked eyes. I give him a half smile and he proceeds to push the woman off him, which was pretty funny to see. They left shortly after. He's sleeping your way to the top. Sir, I was thinking my productivity and work related observations have made me due for a raise. That I know that the doctor that performed euthanasia on my grandparents, who both suffered very much in their last stage of fighting terminal cancer, has technically committed 2 murders. Because this was back in the days euthanasia wasn't legal yet. He risked his entire career/life for 2 people he hardly knew by performing an act of mercy, and my family will always be grateful. I thought my dad was one person until I was 12. Found out my mom banged a married guy, got pregnant with me, then married another guy who thought I was his. At age 12 they told me. To this day, my real father knows, but his entire family does not. I have a sister and brother from him that doesn't know. He is rich and well to do and in politics. Not sure if his wife knows, but it would cause big issues, probably if it were known. His kids, my half-sister and brother, are grown-up adults now, but it would shock their family to know I'm kind of one of them. Extort your dad for sweet monies. The only reason Starburst are so juicy is because they make your mouth fill with saliva. I had actually been wondering this today. Thank you. Don't thank him yet. He didn't say whose saliva they fill your mouth with. A relative of mine got out of a DUI by pretending to be another relative who has diplomatic immunity. It's just been revoked. My grandpa recently died. Grandma didn't like to get involved in finances much. I assume it was some old-fashioned thing where the man handles the money. He was a doctor and had been diligent with his saving and investing, so they've always been well off. So grandma was looking at the finances, since now she has to take care of them, and what do you know, portfolio worth almost $7 million. Apparently grandpa was pretty damn good at saving and investing and didn't tell anybody. I know someone whose father is also his grandfather. At least he's not his own grandpa. A good friend of mine is good friends with several top tier NFL players. I've heard about season-ending injuries a couple of times, hours or days ahead of ESPN. I don't give a shit about fantasy football, so it's never been terribly useful. Neil Radcliffe, as of a year ago anyway, has a cocaine problem. I'd love to see him all coked out, yelling about how he's a ducking wizard. Just learned this one. Someone I know had a thing for older, married guys when she was in her late teens. It was well known about her. Then one day it abruptly stopped. We all assumed some wife caught her and scared the crap out of her. Well, the truth is far more interesting. She met another older married guy and slept with him 3 times. On the 3rd night, her grandmother showed up at her house just as he was leaving. Grandma said, "Well, I see you two finally found out." The guy left, not bothering to wait for an explanation. When she asked Grandma found out what? It turns out the guy she thought was her father wasn't. Her mother had an affair with a married guy and got pregnant. That married guy just walked out of her house. So, yeah, she found out she had been sleeping with her real father. He didn't know either. Only mother and grandmother knew the truth of who the real father was. You can make a very sturdy Lego assembly with thin pieces by turning one piece sideways and attaching it between the studs of another piece like this. One of my good guy friends has been sleeping with our lab teacher for a few months now. Ford models got bought by the Mafia and are using the models as high-end escorts for when celebrities and other VIPs come to New York. And Nale Marin, one of the judges from ANTM, is a SAS offender who blackmailed male models in exchange for sexual favors. That one's not a secret, but it's definitely still happening, even though he got caught. My dad is a pillar of the community and plays an active role in the Catholic Church of a small town. When he got my mom pregnant, he refused to acknowledge me and never even knew my name. When I turned 18, he decided that he wanted to be in my life, but he won't tell any of his friends or family about me. My brother is taking his kids to Disney World over Christmas. They don't know yet. It's a surprise. In a sea of couples cheating on each other and a couple murders, this is pleasant to see.